Hat, sunglasses, Pepsi, notes, sources, thick skin. Check. You already know. Let's go. Welcome to Gold and Blue today, everybody. This is a college football channel. So if you like college football, hit the like and subscribe button. It's that simple. Also, send gear to represent your team and be a part of my background forever. All you have to do is send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina 29657. What a week 10 in college football. And the new AP Top 25 reflects that. And I know that doesn't really mean anything. The college football playoff rankings come out tomorrow night. So I would definitely be keeping my eye on that. But if it's anything like what I'm seeing with the AP Top 25, there's going to be a lot of shuffling going on. This is why we love college football. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you just watched Week 10 and you're a college football fan and you didn't love it, wake up. Get a pulse. That makes no sense. This is what makes college football great. So first, I'm going to go through the AP Top 25, the new AP Top 25, and then we'll talk about some of the big storylines that happen in Week 10 and to look forward to as the coming weeks play out in college football. It was so chaotic that only 3 spots stayed exactly the same in the AP Top 25. Number 1, number 2, and number 11. We're going to start at the top. Number 1 is Georgia. 62 first place votes, they're 9-0. Number 2, Ohio State, just 1 first place vote, they're 9-0. Number 3, Michigan, 9-0, up 1 spot. Number 4, TCU, 9-0, up 3 spots. Number 5, Tennessee, 8-1, down 3 spots. Number 6, Oregon, 8-1, up 2 spots. Number 7, LSU, 7-2, up 8 spots. Number 8, USC, 8-1, up 1 spot. Number 9, UCLA, 8-1, up 1 spot. Number 10, Alabama, 7-2, down 4 spots. Number 11, Ole Miss, 8-1, stays the same. Number 12, Clemson, 8-1, down 7 spots. Number 13, Utah, 7-2, down 1 spot. Number 14, Penn State, 7-2, up 2 spots. Number 15, North Carolina, 8-1, up 2 spots. Number 16, Tulane, 8-1, up 3 spots. Number 17, NC State, 7-2, up 4 spots. Number 18, Texas, 6-3, non-ranked last week. Number 19, Liberty, 8-1, up 4 spots. Number 20, Notre Dame, 6-3, non-ranked last week. Number 21, Illinois, 7-2, down 7 spots. Number 22, UCF, 7-2, up 3 spots. Number 23, Kansas State, 6-3, down 10 spots. Number 24, Washington, 7-2, non-ranked last week. And number 25, Florida State, 6-3, non-ranked last week. 4 teams were knocked out of the rankings. Number 18, Oklahoma State, they lost at Kansas, 37-16. Number 20, Wake Forest lost at number 22, NC State, 30-21. Number 22, Syracuse lost at Pitt, 19-9. And number 24, Oregon State lost at Washington, 24-21. Some of the things that are blowing me away as far as college football, I want to talk about it real quick. First, TCU is still undefeated in spite of having a bad defense. And I've already made a couple of videos on this, how their defense is not very good. They're pass interfering all the time, but for whatever reason, in the second half of the past 4 games, the refs, they just stopped calling pass interference on TCU. They have a great offense, don't get me wrong, but they have a bad defense. I do not expect TCU to finish the season undefeated, and if they do sneak into the playoffs, they're probably going to get blasted. Sorry, TCU fans, y'all have blasted me over the past few videos because of this, but I still stand firm on this. If I look bad because I'm talking about the refs in this situation, then I guess I look bad, because I've watched the past 4 games for TCU, and I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. The next thing is Tennessee is still very much in the playoff hunt. There is no doubt about that. And I think we all knew that even if they lost on the road to Georgia, that was going to remain the same. Now, in the AP Top 25, they fell down to number 5. That's only 1 spot out of the top 4 rankings. But we'll see what the playoff rankings do with Tennessee. It would not surprise me at all, because of what happened this last week, if the playoff rankings kept Tennessee in the top 4 and keep TCU at number 5. I'm just warning you, TCU fans, that is very much a real possibility that the playoff committee keeps Tennessee in the top 4 at number 4, and you're sitting there at number 5, and you still have work to do to get in the top 4. So don't get angry if you see that, because I'm warning you right now. Well, you can still get angry, I understand it, but don't be surprised. The next thing is the Pac-12 has 3 teams in the top 10. 3 as far as the AP Top 25. We'll see what the playoff rankings do with the Pac-12, but this is good news for the Pac-12. In the AP Top 25, you have number 6 Oregon at 8-1, number 8 USC at 8-1, and number 9 UCLA at 8-1. And I do think that all 3 of those Pac-12 teams deserve to be in the top 10. Hopefully the playoff committee thinks the same thing. This is an excellent opportunity for the Pac-12 to finally make the playoffs again. If just one of those 3 teams can finish the regular season with 1 loss, get to the Pac-12 championship and win the Pac-12 championship, I do think the Pac-12 finally gets back into the playoffs. But we all know how the Pac-12 is. Can they do it? Can they stop cannibalizing each other and just one of those teams finish as the Pac-12 champs with just one loss? The next thing is LSU at number 7 in the AP poll. They jumped 8 spots. So they were number 15 last week in the AP poll, but in the playoff poll, they were number 10. I did not agree with that at all. And even with the win over Alabama, I don't agree with number 7. I really don't. And the playoff committee might have them as high as number 5. That would be totally insane and stupid. They got absolutely drilled, blown out by Tennessee at home. And then, of course, the loss to Florida State to start the season. Those losses still matter. Maybe with the win over Alabama, they're a fringe top 10 team, but that's it. Top 5, absolutely not. Top 7, I do not agree with that at all. LSU just does not look like a top 10 team to me. I'm sorry. I know you're in the lead for the SEC West because Alabama has fallen and Ole Miss doesn't look that great, but you still lost to Florida State and you still got blown out by Tennessee. So yes, it is very possible that LSU can make the playoffs if they win out and win the SEC championship. That is unbelievable. The next storyline kind of falls in place with the last storyline, and that's Alabama only falling 4 spots. I'm sorry, Alabama does not look like a top 10 team either. And I know they go on the road, they have a good showing against Tennessee, but they did lose to Tennessee. And then they lose on the road to LSU. And I know LSU was a top 10 team, but that was just the opinion of the playoff committee. I don't think LSU was a top 10 team. Alabama goes on the road, and I know it was just a 2-point conversion, but still, a loss is a loss. And they almost lost to Texas A&M. I'm sorry, Alabama does not look like a top 10 team this year. I know that sounds like blasphemy, but it is what it is. You don't look like it. You almost lost to Texas A&M. You did lose to Tennessee, and you did lose to LSU. That doesn't look like a top 10 team to me. What about Clemson falling to number 12 because of one loss? And yes, they got spanked by a now ranked Notre Dame. Notre Dame is now number 20 in the AP Top 25. We'll see what they are in the playoff rankings. So they are now a ranked team. Clemson does get spanked by them, but does that throw out the window all the great wins Clemson has in the regular season because the ACC looks much, much better? I guess it does, because they fell all the way down to number 12. So Alabama is sitting there at number 10 with 2 losses, and now Clemson is at number 12 because of one bad loss. It is what it is. Now you know how the AP and probably the playoff committee views the SEC compared to the ACC. That answers your question right there. I think Clemson should still be in the hunt for the playoffs, but if the playoff committee drops them as far as the AP poll, they might be out of the playoff race because of that one loss to Notre Dame. And so the ACC would miss the playoffs 2 years in a row. Next big storyline is Oklahoma State. They fall from number 7. They were number 7 before they lost to TCU, all the way down to non-ranked after losing 3 of their last 4 games. Wow. I thought Oklahoma State was a contender in the Big 12. Not so much. They lost 3 out of the last 4, and now they're non-ranked. Oklahoma State has fallen into oblivion. I don't know what happened. Staying in the Big 12, Texas versus TCU this week will be between the first and second place Big 12 teams. Now, remember this. Texas, Baylor, and Kansas State are basically all tied for second place because they're all 4-2 in Big 12 play. So, if Texas wins this game, they will stay firmly in second, and TCU also stays firmly in first. So, really not much happens except for TCU picks up a loss. But if TCU wins, they stay undefeated, they stay in first, and Texas could fall as low as 6th place in the Big 12. So this is more important for Texas than it is for TCU. Don't get me wrong, it's still important for TCU because of their playoff hopes, but this is Big 12 championship implications for Texas. And if they lose, they're out of the Big 12 championship picture. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is Notre Dame. Notre Dame has clawed its way back into the rankings. This makes absolutely no sense. This shouldn't be happening, guys. What am I talking about? When Notre Dame averages 29.1 points per game, that's 69th, and they're allowing 21.2 points per game, which is 28th. So they have a decent defense, but they have a terrible offense. And on top of that, Notre Dame has lost to Marshall and Stanford. But they've gone on the road and beaten North Carolina. They beat a hot, ranked BYU in Las Vegas at the time. They went on the road and dismantled Syracuse. And then this past Saturday, they dismantled number 4 Clemson. What's going on at Notre Dame? I don't know. What we're seeing is a rebuild that should take 2 to 3 years is happening in 1 year. In 1 year. we are seeing a rebuild process at Notre Dame that should take a couple years happening in 1 year. This is absolutely amazing. This should not be happening. The staff turnover, Brian Kelly doing what he's doing in LSU, this is absolutely, basically impossible what we're seeing at Notre Dame. But it's still happening. So congratulations to Notre Dame. You have fought and clawed your way back into the rankings, into relevance. You're definitely bowl eligible, and now you could finish the season ranked. That deserves a round of applause. That is absolutely amazing, and you still have an opportunity at the end of the year to go on the road and beat your national rival in USC, knock them out of the playoff conversation, and establish this as a miracle turnaround season. From losing to Marshall to beating Clemson, that is absolutely amazing, guys. So y'all let me know in the comments section which one of these storylines has surprised you the most. And do you agree with these new rankings from the AP Top 25? And don't worry, I will give you my Golden Blue Dude Top 25 after the playoff rankings come out. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.